events.
Yeah.
And that was really the premise of Speakers Magazine. Because remember, Brian, I was telling you, I said, so we traveled to the events for the speakers, and we are like on the site team promoting them. And then after March, April, it was like, oh, no one's really having any events, so it became virtual. So
Yeah.
Well, I feel like yes, I agree with that. I do think that introverts. I mean, and Sierra might agree with this, but I really feel like the introverts still have a desire to do extrovert related type things, but it's just like in a more controlled way, and it's probably not going to be because I get excited about stuff like this or whatever, but like at a certain point, I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to be off by myself for a while.
It's usually a cutoff time with us, and we are very strategic when we engage. So if I know I have to do something to perform, then you better believe I am really trying to store up and muster up that energy in order to be in that space, particularly if it's an unknown space.
Yep.
Right? If it's an unknown space, we give thought to all of that. And sometimes when we can't avoid but to be in that space. So one of the meetings that I'm in weekly, I don't even turn my camera on for that particular meeting, right? Because I have a whole full day of meetings. And so that one, okay, I'm gonna leave my camera off on this one. This one, I really have to be present. So we are really strategizing to ensure that we retain and disperse that energy appropriately.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to like say that. Yes. All right, so we could get rolling. For the 9 people that are watching so far, hello and good morning. Super excited to be here. Brian O's, Pam Perry, Sierra. Do you I don't know. I know you joined us last time, but I don't know if you really got a chance to introduce yourself. So maybe we should do that now.
You gonna put me on the spot,
let me get my back.
Not at the. Just think about it for a moment. But I'm just saying, as through the conversation, let's make sure we get to know who you are.
Okay.
But just want to say hello, good morning. Black Speakers Network, obviously here. This is our monthly Speakers Magazine cover reveal / cover deep dive or issue deep dive. And so this is a perfect opportunity to be able, if you haven't yet picked up this month's issue of Speakers Magazine, make sure you check it out. I'll put a copy of the cover right here. We got Becky Davis in the building. She's bosspreneur, and I think she's going to be joining us later on this morning. But incredible story. Looking forward to talking with her. We got Pam Perry, founder and creator, editor-in-chief, PR extraordinaire, coming out of Detroit, Michigan, in the building. And so we are absolutely looking forward to a great conversation. And then Sierra, where are you located?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. Where are you again, Brian? Where are you?
Baltimore.
Okay.
Baltimore.
Yes, I am in Atlanta.
All right. So yeah, Atlanta's our second largest market. So there's probably a ton of people here like with you.
It is a lot of people out of the Atlanta. DMV and Atlanta are really like the hot spots for speakers.
Very good. Yes. We have a lot of speakers here. We do.
And Chicago, not so much. Detroit, I mean, we do have a lot, but like Atlanta, when the conferences, I think of the covers of a lot of the people, they're from the DMV, obviously New York, and then also the Atlanta area are where a lot of the speaker conferences are, Black speaker conferences are.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
You need to step it up.
Yes.
You saying Detroit needs to step it up?
Because we don't have that many speaking conferences.
Oh, well, we're waiting on the Speakers Magazine conference. See, I'm gonna do you like you did.
Like, here we go. I know.
Motown, let's get it. We be on a people mover. We can do it in what's the Cabo?
We can even take people over to Canada.
That's right. Yeah. Bring your passport. Or Sierra, one day I could tell you about my accidental Uber ride to our to Pam's event.
Out the country.
Really?
He was supposed to be on his way. People in Detroit know that our WGPR, which is now a museum because it was the first African American owned and operated radio station, so it's a museum now. And so we're waiting on Brian because we were doing our book launch, and it was like, you won't believe it, I was in Canada. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Uber ride?
Yeah, crazy Uber driver. Didn't know where WGPR was. It's like, you know what? That's
it was like the beginning plot to a really interesting movie. It was like
it sounds like a movie. So how long did it take you to get back?
90 minutes. Because they inspected the car on both sides. So when you first of all, there's a lot of traffic on the bridge. So once you're on that bridge, whatever that bridge is,
and I usually do the tunnel, I don't do the bridge.
Well, there's no way to turn around. So like we're just there, and she's like, "Yeah, we're going to Canada." I had my passport, she didn't, so that also held things up. So they they asked a bunch of questions. They took the car one place, we had to go to another place. So they processed us, got the car, searched the entire car. So that took like 30 minutes. And then when they finally sent us back to the United States, when we got back, they searched the car again and then asked us a whole bunch of questions. And then like the immigrations officials was like, "So what's your relationship, like you and her?" And I'm like, "That's my Uber driver." And they're like, "Why are you getting Uber to Canada?" I'm like, "It was an accident." And it was like, "Ooh, like 1 star for you." Like,
I was getting ready to say, so there's no, we're lost, can I just turn around? There was none of that, huh?
No.
I went on a bridge.
Not when you're on immigrations and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
No.
The minute you pull out, they think something's up, right? The minute you try to pull out.
Black Network International. He was trying to start another chapter up there in international chapter or something. I don't know. I was like, okay.
Well, the Uber driver was legit, right? Didn't have anything in the car that you had to, make amends for. So
I'm like, I'm not a part of this. I'm already but we have a lot of members in Toronto, Canada. So for everybody watching, and again, hello, good morning. Give us a hashtag BSN if you're there. I see Mikey, Jewel, what's going on? Malachi. All right, SC, what's up? Valerie, good stuff. So we got people checking in from across the country. Jewel says, Jewel always dropping knowledge. She always knows exactly what we're talking about.
Okay. Yes, it was on East Jefferson. It's still on East Jefferson. That's where the museum is, Jewel. That's right. That is right. Sean Robinson, if you remember her, she got her start at WGPR. Doreeth Chisholm. I mean, a lot. Donnie Simpson. So a lot of that comes out. Mojo, if you remember Mojo, Jewel. I don't know if you remember Mojo. He used to land the mothership every night. Crazy stuff going on in the Motown. But one of the things I want to say, I love meeting people online. So as an extrovert, so I met Sierra online. I think it was LinkedIn, and I remember she said, "I'm a feature writer. I'd love to do some feature writing for Speakers Magazine." I was like, "Okay, let's see." So she sent the resume. I was very impressed. I mean, like, really, I was very impressed. And the first story I assigned was, what was the first story I assigned?
Jamie Foster Brown.
Jamie Foster Brown.
Right.
So the first story I assigned to her, she did the Zoom with Jamie. Jamie's iconic herself. She has her own magazine. So remind you, this is the first feature someone's going to do for someone who was a magazine publisher for 25 years. Talk about like stepping up into some cotton, right? It's like, oh, heck. So she does the interview and she does really well. And I just let her zoom in, and then I zoomed out, and I came back and I said, "How'd it go?" She says, "Good." And I said, "Okay, well, the story is due on Monday." This is like Thursday. She was like,
no pressure.
Okay. And at that point, did you know that it was like, you're going to interview her and you're going to do the story? And at that point, she was like, "I thought it was just an interview." I was like, "No, it was for this."
I was asking Pam, I said, "Who's writing the story?"
You.
She said, "You are."
And that was where I saw like her gift, because she's really good at doing these, I guess you would say, the speaker interviews or that sort of thing. So that's why I want her on today as well, because she's really good at that. But it was so funny when she said, "Who's doing the story?" I said, "You do."
Sierra, what's your background? And also, your name is spelled Cier.
Correct.
See, that's the actual. I was like, I think she cut her name up, but she didn't.
Oh well, you know what? My full name is La Cier, so it's LACIER, but I branded Cier.
I love it. That's beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so what's your background? Like, what's your
right? So my background, first, I'll always say that I was groomed in corporate marketing. I was nurtured by way of nonprofits. I've worked with several nonprofits, and I was empowered by entrepreneurship. So that when you think of my personality, that's how I am. Look, that's becoming Cier, corporate marketing, nonprofits, and then entrepreneurship. But my background is in communications and psychology academically. So I'm fascinated by human behavior. So I love hearing people's stories, I'm very analytical too. So, what steps, how did you get there? And it's the whole journey that I enjoy. And then at the end of it, I enjoy promoting and empowering them, because oftentimes, and this is what other people do for us, you cannot appreciate you as much as someone else who sees you. Mm-hmm. So back to Pam, right? And Pam, I think I was actually introduced. You did a conference over the summer. And that's when I started following you, and I had reached out several times, and didn't hear back I didn't take it personally, because we know the industry. This woman is doing this, so I wasn't offended or didn't think anything. I just kept trying, and I had reached out to her on Instagram, so it was several takes, and I never heard back from her. And then she did ask for my resume and a portfolio link. Still didn't hear back from her. 4 days before the interview, she says, I think I have something for you, right? But she didn't say it was 4 days. She said, but it's Thursday. I think she called me Monday. She was like, it's Thursday. And she said, but if you can't do it, I'm like, oh no, I can do it. I can do it, right? I was like, don't worry about it. And part of me, because I know, I had been able to admire her from a distance and be in PR, you do not entrust your brand with anyone. You don't do that. Mm-hmm. And so for her to actually ask me to conduct this interview with her, that's something she saw in me. And I'm like, if she believes I can do it, and I think I could do it, I can do it. I'm not going to pass this opportunity. And what made it easy is because she put me in a space in which I'm very comfortable in and that I enjoy. So the interview was just, I just love talking to people and drawing out their stories. And then, right. And then, she said, I didn't know I was writing a story. I'm like, so who's going to write the story? She was like, you are. And it was due Monday. And I love writing, so it wasn't a problem. And I have to say thank you, to her very much for seeing in me what I think, right, it's in me, but it takes other people to pull it out.
That was the one.
That was it.
Mm-hmm. That was it. And it's a really type of the thing, just to let you know that I did check you out. So that's why it took it a long time, but also too getting on the schedule of our cover stories is like the other part. It's like, okay, I'm chasing them, and then it's like, okay, let's lock down the date.
Right. There's no doubt that you checked me out. It was no doubt. I'm sure you Googled me. I'm sure you did your work, because there's no way you would let me in that space without it, right? So, and that's what I'm saying. If she thinks it wasn't, we do our thorough research. Trust me, we do that. And for her to be who she is, I knew she had to check me out.
And I said,
right. And for her to ask me, that was confidence booster without even talking. Those are the cues that you can pick up on. If here's this professional woman, successful woman, all these years in the industry, and she says, can you do something for me? I know she's gone into that, and she wouldn't allow anyone to represent her unless I had that credential.
And I saw it in you. Just so real quick, because last month, Brian, we did Jamie Foster Brown. She was on our cover last month. Yep. And on that particular interview, just want to not be remiss in saying this, on that particular interview, Jamie's right-hand person, Aurora, was on our interview. Mm-hmm. And she was laying down. She looked like she was a little tired or whatever, but this was Jamie's right-hand girl. And, and I said, okay, so she kind of set the interview up, and she did everything for Jamie. Well, we just found out about a week ago that she died from COVID. And so we just want to say our prayers out to the family and everything. She was in New York. And she passed, and she lost her battle with COVID. So we didn't realize at that time that she had, well, maybe she didn't know at the time that she was really going through the symptoms of the coronavirus at that time. But we do have her on video. That was like the last time really that she was on video with us, you know, me, you, Jamie, and Aurora. And it was just really, the coronavirus is just ravaging our country. And so I just want to remind people to mask up, stay safe, be Zoom, you know, get used to being online. You know, we're going to be in this space for a while as speakers. So just, you know, just so that, you know, even if you travel, I talked with a young lady yesterday. She's going to somewhere in February. I said, just mask up, you know, Black Speakers Network. We are not going traveling to our events until what was it? 2022.
I don't have any flights scheduled at all right now.
Well, I mean, but the other one, the in not 2021, but 2022.
Oh yeah. Well, we can't announce that yet, but yes.
Oh, okay. All right. But yeah, nothing in 2021. Just want to be safe and everything.
Exactly.
So it is really one of the things. Thank you, Jules. She kind of just said praying. Yes, stay safe. My organ says stay safe. Exactly. It is one of those things where you really do have to. I had some friends from high school that their kids came home from college and
we got an emergency use authorization, I think, last night from the FDA. And so the first vaccines in the US, UK's already started, but like that Pfizer vaccine, it's on its way out.
Yeah.
And I was on a call this morning with one of our partners that works for one of the largest healthcare systems in the country. And they're doing a pilot. And so she was telling me kind of how it's being rolled out. But hopefully, you know, that.
Can you share any of that, Brian?
I'm sorry?
Can you share any of that of how they're going to roll it out? Like who are is the frontline workers that are getting it, or?
Yeah, I can share a little information. So basically, you know, it's really fascinating because this is considered like a military operation, basically. So the military is actively from the point in which it leaves the warehouse or the manufacturing facility at Pfizer to it gets to its destination, it's considered a military operation, this Operation Warp Speed thing. And so basically FedEx and UPS have split the country in half. And so half of the country will be delivered by FedEx, other half is UPS. So from the time it like leaves the facility, it's like police and military escorted to the airport, flies to the intended destinations, and then that entire time it's like under lock and key, like nobody can, you know, it's there. But the priority is certainly you know, frontline healthcare workers, you know, so nurses, doctors, you know, first responders, and also elderly folks in, you know, retirement communities and stuff like that. But the states are actually responsible for the distribution plan once it, you know, gets there. And so the federal government is like, hey, here's what you get allocated, and then it's up to the states to
distribute it
based on community and stuff. Yeah.
So that's where it's going to get messed up at, unfortunately. They should have carried it all the way through, but that's quite interesting. You know, you're right. It is a military operation and is protected as such, you know, from everybody. But yeah, that's pretty interesting, pretty cool for you to have that insight too.
Yeah, well, that last part of what I shared, that's public information. So like, yeah, so
why is it just UPS and FedEx? Is it the post office, they don't want to use their express system, or what was up with anyway? I'm not gonna say federal government, and they're gonna trust it to non-federal people. It's like,
well, here's the thing: UPS and FedEx specializes in this type of stuff. It's like fast delivery, so they have the planes, they have the on-ground infrastructure, so and they have the bandwidth. So I think you know, USPS, you know.
You know, and sometimes you need that private industry to come in because there's so much red tape when you start talking federal. You know, that you have to go through so much, and then there's so much politicking going on inside too. So the private industries all they're going to do is do their job. I'm supposed to deliver it. This is the time they need it, and they get it done.
And they have these little chips too. So they have the technology piece. So inside each box, there's like a little chip. So they can see real-time tracking of where every single package is. And so they know throughout the entire delivery campaign. Michael Wynn says that it's Pfizer. Oh, Pfizer's based in Michigan?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Okay.
That's us.
Cool. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
UPS, they're still looking for the ballots, right?
Look, I ain't even
Our governor is not playing, and neither is our Secretary of State. So them women is like, listen, y'all need to just move along. It's done. It's over.
Monday's the deadline for the electors vote on Monday, I think. So like it's over. It's
over for real. It's over for real.
So let's look at this issue. So we got a lot going on. And it's a beautiful issue, though.
Oh my goodness! This cover is the boss move, right? This is the Bosspreneur cover. I love this cover. Wrapping up, she said she'll get on in a minute. So I love this cover. We went through a whole lot to really get this cover. So she has a white party that she does every year. She had a couple of weeks ago. So she said to me, different pictures and things like that. I said, we need the white. We need the white. So this was it. This is the last cover of the year. I really wanted to be special. And she did.
And it looks Christmassy. Candy cane colors, right?
Yes. It's Christmassy without really being too Christmassy. Because, Brian has a cover too. So, you want to kind of keep them so that they're kind of timeless. So that when she takes her board with her, it's not just looking Christmas. So yeah, I really, really like this, but it has that subtle Christmas look. Mm-hmm.
And I love she's when she gets on, we gotta talk about these pearls.
Yes,
she has all the black. I've never seen black pearls.
Yeah, she's a style icon.
Okay.
she really is. And what's interesting is, so I've known Becky for a period of time. When I first launched, and when she first started, we had kind of come into each other, and I had the opportunity to work with her for a short period of time. And I remember Pam saying, she was giving thought as to whether or not I would be the best one to interview Becky, because when that personal relationship is hard, it may be harder to get the story. And the fact that we had not seen each other for a period of time, it was easy to get the story because it was more like catching up. But then we did blend in the fact that we knew each other. So we went way back, and it was just so much to cover for her because she is such an amazing individual.
That's why I asked, like, how do you consolidate? Because how long are you typically talking to them? Like 30 minutes?
For the goal is an hour, maybe 45 minutes. But Becky and I went, we started and stopped, but then we kept going on. And it is, for me as a writer and storyteller, I have to do a lot of editing. So the first story is a lot. And then I have to come and condense and edit. And then by the time Pam gets it, she still may have to do some editing in order for it to fit in the space of the magazine.
So how long does that take for you?
It may take some days, because after the interview, I'm still in awe of everything she said. And then I decide, how do I want to shape it? How do I want to position it? What theme am I using? How am I going to tell this story? So it takes a couple of days. The thing about with Jamie, the reason why I was able to turn it around so quick is because she's such a fireball, and she really just cracked me up. But with Becky, there was so much to cover, and I had to take off the personal hat and put on the journalism hat to make sure I covered her in a new way, and in a way that the audience could really appreciate who she is. I wanted to make sure I did justice by her, because she is so much more than this. You see how condensed it is, but there's so much more to her. The good thing is, when you have people like that, they really don't even need the magazine, because once you put them before the audience, it is electrifying right there. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that I enjoy about uncovering and telling people's stories. That's the empowerment part that I just love, and I thrive in that space.
My question for Pam is, like, how do you know all these people? I was telling Pam, even my mom was like, how you online talking to Jamie Foster Brent, like all these different people, like,
and Dr. Ben Chavis, and that was one of the ones. Every month is a very different month, and Becky Becky, I've known for a long time, and actually, a lot of the covers. If you go to the front and look at the different covers, and maybe I can give you a little story about how they kind of came about, so to speak. Um, because a lot of them know each other. If you go, no, it's like the front of the December issue, because I recapped all the covers in the publisher's letter.
The year end,
Yeah, in the year end, and a lot of them. So Becky is good friends with D Marshall. D Marshall's good friends with Dr. Stacy NC Grant. So they're all different friends like that, which they all know, sure would. I mean, so there's just I guess you would say, good people travel together in circles, and those are like the Fab Five, I guess you would say. Becky, D,
I like that.
Dr. Stacy NC Grant, sure, those are like the Fab Five. And so if you know those five, you pretty much know everybody, because they're great speakers, they know everybody, and they always tell other people or their friends, you need to reach out to Pam. Like next year is one of the covers. I think can I say it? I don't know. Sometimes I can't remember if they say don't say anything yet, but
don't say anything yet.
Don't say anything yet. I'm a publicist, right? And so we share everything. So it's like, if you have a secret, don't tell Pam Perry, because she's gonna promote it and tell everybody. So I can't remember. So I'll keep it under wraps. But I will say January is coming along really, really good, and he's a BSM member as well. So
ooh, I know who it is, but I ain't gonna say.
Yeah, right. Don't say anything. We'll say it when we get that's why we're doing it here. So we're doing it so the cover reveal. But the covers for, click over one more.
Yeah, my computer is like fighting me on like bandwidth.
Okay.
There
it is.
So January, pre-COVID, it was Dr. Geneva Williams, and she had an event, MLK Day, really talking about dreams and that sort of thing. And she sold out her event. She had a awesome event. That was like the only event that we really had. Then February, Cookie was to do an event in Detroit, Cookie Johnson, Magic Johnson's wife. But really, right after that, remember, COVID really kind of came to the country. And so Cookie said, you know what, my husband don't want to compromise. I don't want to travel. I don't want to compromise his immune system, because obviously he has, health issues. So she didn't come, but she still did the cover, and she speaks. Her book is Believing in Magic. And then March.
What a great name.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that cool? It's cool book. So Ed also has a book, and I remember the day that
I have his book, Turn Conversations into Blood.
Yes, Conversations in Black. And so Ed went to high school with Ed. He had his book coming out. He said, let's get on the cover. And I remember the day that we did his interview in person. He was at a church here, and he was doing that. He was doing the book signing, and that was the day we heard that Kobe Bryant had got killed in the plane crash. It was just like, oh my God. Well, now we got COVID. Now we got Kobe. I mean, it was just that particular. The end of January was just like really horrible. Then the following month, so we had Kim Cole, and so Kim basically not Kim, but I think after that was, it wasn't, they're not in order, but Kim had an event, but it was a virtual event. So that was like one of the first hybrid events that I really had seen work. She used a platform called Hey Summit. We had a great time. She sold that event out too. It was just fabulous. Kern, she sold her event out. She kept pushing it back and back. It was supposed to be in May, and then it moved to October, and then finally she just did it online because people weren't traveling. We kept thinking, about February, March. So it's going to open up. No, Dr. Velma, her Millionaires Academy sells out all the time. She was going to have an event. COVID obviously didn't. Dr. Stacy, then she did her event. She's been on the cover 3 times. Her event was virtual, and it was fabulous. She had some people in the studio.
I spoke at that event. That was great.
Yes, she had some people in the studio, but we felt like we were there. It was over 3 days, right? Stephanie Mills, a client of mine, her son published a book, but she really starting a foundation. So she was really excited to be on the cover, really talking about her event that she's actually having today, her vision board party, and really raising money for the foundation because her son has Down syndrome. So she really wants to really roll out and really talk about that. And she's just really blackity black too. So she really wanted to make sure that people voted, and we vote.
Right.
the right person in. Then of course we had Brian. He had his global summit. I mean, we planned that event a year in advance, and then we just had to do it virtual. Did the takeover issue. It was humongous. Where is it here? Yes, here it is here. And all of the BSN, they were in here, and he did the takeover issue, and we did a lot of different things with this. We did IG Live, we did all kinds of stuff. So this one was a really different issue. It kind of gave us a different model, so to speak. Ben Chavis, he is president of NMPA, which we're part of the National Newspapers Publishers Association, but he rolled out a show on PBS. So we're partnering with him on that. So that was just a way. So it wasn't an event, but it's either a book, or it's an online event, or it's a TV show, something that's new and newsworthy of why someone is on the cover. That's what the cover stories are, to kind of share and shape what's new and different. Jamie Foster Brown, this particular one was a Black women in media issue. The cover talked about that live event there, and then Jamie is iconic in that space as one of the Black women media icons, so to speak. So that was really the issue of that. And then there's Becky Davis. So yeah, so that's
great year in review.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because to me, like, these are people that I would not have naturally just like come across. This is a lifetime of relationships for you, Pam. And in addition to that, it's also, let me zoom out. It's also kind of a really nice cross section of industries. I mean, we got, people, Ed Gordon, we have entertainment, we have like, just it's a really healthy cross section of different components, and really a microcosm of like the Black community as well. When you think about not just the cover, but also the folks that are in the story. Plus, each issue has these articles where you're learning about the speaking industry as well. So like even in this issue, we have Danielle Tucker talking about things every speaker website should have.
She's a partner, I guess you would say. She's a colleague. She's one
of the platform partner. Absolutely. Her birthday was yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's in Ecuador, so she is living the life, man, of different world.
Ecuador? Really wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, she has been you and Danielle, because Danielle is the CEO of Professional Speaker Website, so that's our official like website design partner. So for anybody looking for speaker websites, she's kind of like the first line of defense. She has this really cool process where you can actually create your own speaker website in a couple of hours with a plug and play platform. But then if you want a custom site, she could build that as well. But Danielle, just like highly, highly collaborative, very knowledgeable, very passionate about helping speakers, grow their brand, just like you, Pam. So like all these relationships have, funneled over time. But I just really appreciate, and I don't know if y'all know this, I actually have let me show y'all this. So I have a box of speaker magazines.
Wow.
So I have every issue that I've ever gotten.
You're more organized than me, because I'm telling you, like George Fraser was our first cover, so that's in the front. Hey, LaShonda. LaShonda sees herself on the screen.
She's on the cover.
Yes.
This is 2018.
Yeah.
2018.
That was Les Brown's son right there.
Yeah, this was our original like takeover issue from 2017.
Yes.
So yeah, I got.
You guys been connected for a while as well, huh, Brian? You and Pam in this space.
Yeah, we go way back like car seats. That's what we doing out here.
It is one of those things where I know a lot of people want to speak, and I always tell them to join Black Speakers Network, and they were like, "What is that?" And I said, "Well, just join the Facebook group first, and you'll get involved, and you'll understand what it is, because there's nothing. I have a high bar that I want people to really just live up to, and so Brian does a lot of training and networking. People learn different things about the industry that maybe they won't learn anywhere else, because they could join other groups and things like that. But sometimes other groups won't share the real secrets or share the real deal, or they may not have the same mission of speaking that maybe someone else may have, that they want to speak, they want to share, they want to tell a story. So it's real important to be around your own to really to be a professional, and he helps raise the bar so that no one is doing anything janky, you know.
There she is.
Her ears were burning. Oh my God. Finally. Becky,
good afternoon, Becky.
So I did not tell the news about what happened with your PR. Okay. So you just tell it, because it was hard for me not to say it. Okay. So tell them what happened. Tell them what happened. So usually when we do the Speakers Magazine, we do a press release and we send it out, and it goes on blacknews.com. And so, Becky, what happened?
So, hi, Brian.
Yes, I was going to say welcome. Good morning. Glad you're here. Also, bookcase goals.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I can't even breathe. Hold on. I was ending up the other one, and I was looking at my time like, come on, y'all, I got to get another one.
Yeah, and I sent you the link like 3 times. I was like, here. Yeah.
Right. So first of all, that was so exciting, Pam. I got an email. First of all, she emailed me 2 different emails. She sent an Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter message. She was like, I hit you on across all the spots. And she hit inside of the magazine. It has to connect with Pam Perry. And there was another email. She sent those too. So you might have something in your box as well. But she said she is on.
She's not taking any chances at all, right?
No, that's what she told me. She said, I was not taking any chances.
That's a good producer.
Exactly. She said she went through my, I saw it because it came through my BeckyADavis.com, my website. She filled out that contact form, and I saw it in there, who said she was a producer for Fox Soul TV show. And she saw, because I always ask, how did you find out? How did you hear about me? And she said from Speaker Magazine, and she said it was on Black News. And she said, I get that all the time. And I read the article. And when I read the article, she was like, we got to have her on. And she said, so just don't be alarmed when you see it across all your platforms, this person trying to find out who you are. And I said, not at all. But she said they're doing a show about near-death experiences. And when she read my story about my near-death experience, she was like, oh my God, we got to have her on. We got to have her on. So I called her actually yesterday and had a conversation with her. And that's when she kind of explained that to me. And she said, when I saw it on the news. And then when I started just kind of Googling you, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I was like, I like that response.
Yes. And let me tell you, that's the whole thing about media, right? Because they will look and find you, right? They will see something. You got a press release. You got to get out there, but they'll also Google you. So thank goodness it wasn't janky.
Right. Right. You got to have your stuff together.
You got to have your stuff together.
So you're saying, so this is Fox Soul. You're going to be on the show?
Fox Soul. So they she said that they are across all platforms, their show. So it'll be Instagram Live, it'll be a Facebook Live, it'll be Roku TV, it'll be, she named like 6 or 7, it'll be YouTube.
Okay, huge. I mean, Fairfield has been on there. Jody Watley has been on there.
Exactly. I started looking at all the people that were on there, and I know Instagram, it was like 137,000 followers just on Instagram, not even the other platforms. So when I looked at the other platforms, I was like, yes, ma'am, I want to be on this. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is serious.
Congratulations, Becky. Congratulations. Yes.
That's the intent. That's the intent. I love it.
To what Pam does. Pam has just done her job so well that it is great to be able to bring a highlight to what I do, and all of the things that you've done, and putting the information out and sharing it on the press release has just heightened more awareness to my brand. So I'm totally thankful for that.
Yes. And really your story, because you have an amazing story. Your story is really important for this year because people have really gone through like the pandemic has really shaken a lot of people to the core with a lot of anxiety and that sort of thing. But your story inspires people. And that's what she saw. And when you have a near-death experience like you experienced, you then fear goes out the back door. If you get, someone says, if I get another chance, I'm going to make sure that I go full out. And you're bosspreneur, chief bosspreneur.
Yes.
So I love good stories. I promote positive people, products, and publications. So that's what I do.
Positive people, products, and publications. Isn't that a tongue twister?
Yeah.
One of the things I love about your story too is that I feel like you really had two near-death experiences, because you had the physical death experience, but I love your story of like, hey, you were in a training that you didn't even know where you were going to, and then you hear this facilitator, and then they're like, oh man, you are absolutely indoctrinated and trying to figure out how to be that person. And I think everybody as a speaker has had that experience where you're sitting in the audience and you're just like, I want to do that, and I want to be like that. And so I love your story of like Dale Carnegie and sitting in the class, and then they're like, yeah, you should totally be a speaker, and then you go to do it, and then
you're totally afraid. You're totally afraid. I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I'm thinking I'm doing all of the steps, and I'm doing all of the steps that I should be doing until it gets to the place where someone says, come and speak. And so it was twofold. I was like, oh yes. And I was like, oh yes. Wait a minute. And and I know a lot of it was my age, because I kept saying I'm 25, and this event is people that were in their 40s and 50s, and and so I got totally intimidated. Age was a big part of me getting totally intimidated, and because I was thinking age, I was also thinking I have nothing to teach. I have nothing to offer to someone up there. Today, if I could go back and talk to my younger self, it's like, girl, you can help them too. It's like, because I'm that age now, and we all still need people to be able to pour into us, but not knowing and not having enough experience, you just automatically start to think, well, maybe there's not anything that you could offer. And so I went and hid in my shell and just decided to go all in corporate America, and then started to use the gift there. And that was safer, because I didn't have to take the feedback of an audience as a speaker. But if I was teaching and training my managers and helping to develop there, that was a lot safer for me. But that's what built up my core strength, that I am good at this.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like that was that near-death experience, because you could have walked away from it altogether and never to come back. But when dreams die on the shelf, that's just as worse as like a physical death.
Yeah, and I think it had satisfied me in corporate America because I was using the skill. But here's where God really stepped in for me. I was using the skill. It had satisfied me, but he had already said, I called you to more. And I was like, but I'm doing it, and this is safe, but I've called you to more. And every time I would hear that, it's like, okay, Becky, you go ahead, you're going to start your own business. Okay, I'm going to be obedient, and I'm going to do it. But I really wasn't. I just kept procrastinating because I was afraid to take that step. I was afraid that what if it wasn't? What if I wasn't successful? Or what if people rejected me? All of the trash that gets into our head. But God never stopped saying, I called you to more. And it wasn't until the near-death experience for me that I truly, totally relinquished my flesh and just focused on spirit, and say, okay, I deny myself, my fear, I deny that. And I will jump out there and just believe that if I take step 1 and step two, you will reveal step 3. I don't have to know all of the pieces and the parts. I just need to take a step. And if you reveal step 3, when I take step 4 and step 5, I might even take step 6. You'll show me what 7 is. I just had to believe that. And that was the growth for me in my spiritual life, in my business. And it's so funny. I have my shirt on today, Affirmations.
Oh yeah, I love that.
This Exactly. God affirmations is really a confirmation from God. So as soon as I took that leap and I was like, okay, I'm a little nervous, I'm a little scared, but God, I'm doing this thing. And I started to, put pieces together. I met Sierra during that time that I was doing all of that. I was totally planning out. I was doing test pilots of my program to see what worked, what didn't work. And it was funny. The first client that I got when I did my test pilots, Sierra, I had invited you to that test pilot on that leadership. When I did that first test pilot, I did that in like November. And when I launched my business, January of 2013, my very first contract was someone that was in that meeting, had just got promoted to another company as COO. And because he saw what I did in the test pilot, he hired me. My first contract was $20,000 for a 6-month executive leaders. And it was God's way of saying, you got this a God affirmation. I'm showing you should be where you are. And it started to roll from there. My second contract was $25,000 2 months later. And I was like, okay, that was the God formations, because God he's like, I know Becky, I know how she is. I just need to show her a little bit for her to know this is me speaking.
Right.
And every time he revealed that and showed that to me, I knew I was on the path and I was not looking back.
Wow, that is so.
So Becky, you deserve to be on this cover.
No doubt he does.
That is. And the name of the story is called Becoming Becky A. Davis, right?
Yes. I was like so excited when I saw it. I was like, oh, they got the essence of who I am.
Yes.
And so that's what, Brian, when you say how long, I don't go into the interview knowing, but it's after speaking with them that, I'm replaying everything, and her story, this is how she became who she is. And so it was an honor to interview her and get that, all of that, although I had known some of it, but it's still just as powerful. And so I thought this is perfect. Becoming Becky A. Davis is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Man, you talk about taking those steps. Everyone, and Brian too, you've been left corporate. It's been over a year. How many months has it been?
It's been
18 months.
416 days, 12 hours, 13 minutes, and 45 seconds, give or take.
There you go, Brian.
Everybody remembers taking that first step and giving that I'm done with corporate. I'm going to do this on my own, and where my client's going to come from, or the program, where's the money going to come from? It's like the 1st and the 15th, those days are gone. It's like in order to eat, you got to kill it, right? So it's I remember my first client when I did ministry marketing solutions. It was like, okay, I'm going to really do this. And my first client, talk about confirmation, was someone that I was leaving my old place, and I met them in the elevator and I was leaving, and I did not have any clients. And that person said, what do you do? Or whatever, had some conversation. I says, well, at this point, I have this company. It's called Ministry Marketing Solutions. Oh, what do you do? I help ministries market. I mean, it's pretty much in the name, dude. And then he says, oh, really? He says, well, I have a gospel play. Could you help me get PR for that? Oh, okay. Well, how gospel play? It's like what's kind of ministry? And it was really set for the big Fisher Theater for the Easter holiday weekend. And it was called Perilous Times. And it was TJ Hempfield. I didn't know him at the time. And we just had this conversation. Well, anyway, that was my first client. Got him on the front page of the Detroit Free Press, which is our major daily. And that thing sold out all weekend long. And then from there, people kind of heard what is Ministry Marketing Solutions. And I think my next client came from there. And it just kind of rolled. But literally, as I was leaving where I was at, on the way to something that I didn't know, I talked to someone in the elevator, and that's what I said. God sent that person. And he basically said, okay, let's have a conversation. Send me a proposal. I'm like, oh my God, this is in 2000. I'm like, I don't have a proposal. I just start. I don't even have business cards yet. Like, okay, and it happened. So you do have to take that first step. And I think that's when God just shows you that. What do you say? God formation. that comes up, and it really does. You'll know, and you also know when things are wrong too. But you also will know when you're on the right path. And then if you're on the wrong path, God will just say, nope, you're kind of swaying off. You're just too broad, or you need to narrow it down in here. And that was one of those things. So yeah, anyone who wants to be a full-time entrepreneur, take your time. It's not like it works out 100% all the time. You may have to go back in and out and in and out. It's no shame in that, but just keep trying. You'll hear that inner voice to say, yeah, this is the way, walk in it.
Yeah.
Got to know that what Becky said, when there's something more, there's something great, you've got to take a risk to win. You got to go for it.
My guy, Joey Price, said that he I think tweeted this a couple days ago. He was like, if 2020 has taught us anything, is that having only one stream of income is dangerously close to having zero streams of income.
You're so right. Yep.
And so if you're taking that walk, I would just say, yeah, have your thing going on. But I'm like, yo, if you want to trade Forex, if you want to do whatever else, like have the line coming in so that you can decide. Because I think moving forward, this is the new economy that we're in. We're in the gig economy. We're in the multiple streams, multiple, avenues. And even for you, Becky, I'm sitting here looking like, are you like a stylist? Like, are you like, what's going on? I'm seeing like all these different, you're like a spokesperson, brand ambassador, speaker, author, producer, like,
creator. Right. She does.
I'm using
all our skills.
I am using all of the gifts that God has given me. I am using them across platforms, and I truly believe that Proverbs 18:16 says, and it was funny, one of my coworkers in corporate America, he used to say this to me all the time, because he was like, Becky, don't nobody else put in all of the work that you put in. Because I was always trying to make sure that I was on the top of the game for my peers, that I was leading my peers. And he was like, you leading, ain't nobody else doing what you're doing. I was like, I need my boss to tell me. You, my peer, telling me, I want my boss to tell me. And he would always say that, Becky, he said, they're going to create a job for you. He said, the way you work and the things that they're going to create, it's not even a position that is named. They're going to create a position for you. Wow. And I used to be like, why do you always say that, David? He was like, I just said, I've never seen anybody work like you. And what was crazy is the first time I got promoted, David ended up being I actually brought him in to be one of my directors because he and me and this other guy, we worked together. I brought them in on my team as a store. And then when I moved up to regional and into VP, I went back and got the people that was on the team with me and brought them up to directors. And he was like, I told you, you the one, because the stuff that you do. But he used to always talk about Proverbs 18:16. Your gift is gonna make room for you, Becky. Just keep working in your gift. And
Shannon just said, she says your gift will make room for you and bring you before great people.
Yes.
There you go, Shannon.
The presence of great people. And when I tell you guys to be for Priscilla Shire to be the opening keynote, and Becky Davis to be the closing keynote. You remember that moment for me, Pam?
Yes, that was so amazing.
Oh my goodness. I was an opening keynote. Vivica Fox was a closing keynote. I was an opening keynote. Angie Stone was a closing keynote. Just the stages and the places that God has put me in, because my gift is making room and placing me in the presence of other people. So just know I go in fearful. I'm afraid.
I have a question about one of those gifts and experiences. So specifically, you are one of the national spokespersons for Coca-Cola, like their 5x20 stuff. So how did that happen? Like, how do you become, because I read before Coca-Cola, you were talking about Pam's brand, which I absolutely agree with. Like, she don't play around with her brand, but Coca-Cola too is one of the most valuable brands in the world, I believe. Like, it's like,
of course.
Yeah. So like, they're not just gonna be like, yeah, Becky, come on and say some stuff. Like, how did you come about that opportunity?
So Brian, thank you for that question. I have been in business 2 years at this point, and I was serving another company. It was an organization. Year one, when I got my second contract, I went and was a coach for a large conference. They do a retreat, these high-level women all across the board, and I was asked to come and do a training for entrepreneurs. They had a client, they do this executive coaching for their top-level clients, and I was asked to come in and do that. I went in and I did that, and I was like, I definitely need to be around these ladies. They're game changers, movers, and shakers. And so I served that company. I would do their conferences. I worked 5 days. The conference is 5 days. Becky was doing a workshop, a training. I was like, time and talent. I wasn't getting paid to do any of this. This was just something that I knew I needed to do that was going to help me be in the presence of some great people. And after 2 years of doing that, I got a call from the CEO of the company that says, and I'd been doing all of their entrepreneur training and stuff. And I got a call saying, hey, we just got this partnership with Coca-Cola. We're doing a 15-city tour, and it's focused strictly on entrepreneur because they did a lot of corporate stuff. This was only entrepreneur focused. And they said, you've been our entrepreneur speaker and trainer. We want you to be our keynote speaker in this training. So it's like, yes, I'm in it. We did 15 cities. I felt like this is what Beyonce and Jay-Z feel like when they're on a tour. 2 or 3 cities in 1 week.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the way they do it. I had a blast, but it wasn't until we got here in Atlanta. We were scheduled to do the Atlanta session here, the event here. And so Atlanta, we had more people come out to the Atlanta because this is the home of Coca-Cola. And they were going to have like 6 of their executives there. I mean, it was like crazy. So now I had done probably 10 of the events by then. We were at event 11. So I'm like, I got this thing down. We went to do the presentation. Now I'm nervous. I'm scared because it is Coke, and I'm looking on the front row. All I see is the Coke executives up there like, Becky, just do your thing. And that's all you can do is just do your thing. So I did my thing. After the event, the group that actually hired that company, I got this tap on my shoulder and said, listen, what you just did with the program that we've been doing for the last 5 years, no one has ever presented it the way you just presented it, because it was a program where they talked about 4 areas of small business. I saw the 4 areas of small business and I saw how they were talking about it, and I revamped it and Becky-rized it. And then I presented it from a different perspective, and they were wowed. And so they came to me and said, would you put a contract together for you? Let me tell you how good God is. I said, oh my God, they want me to put a contract together. It was my first corporate contract. So I'm like, okay, I put a contract together. My contract was for a year. They came back and said, can you redo the contract and put it for 2 years? What? Yes, I will. So I go back, I put a contract together for 2 years. At the end of the 2 years, I was like, well, you've learned some things now, Becky. When you did 1 year, they asked for 2. The program ends in 3 years. So I positioned my second contract was for a 3-year contract. I added some other things, my events, and I had knew some things by then. So I had added some other things. They said yes to those things. So it's been 5 years now that I have been the national spokesperson for the Coca-Cola STEP program to help women entrepreneurs enable and empower them to grow their businesses. And so that was the door that opened to Coke, was me being able to deliver in their presence for them to want to, because they are very particular about people that they partner with. Their brand is, they are very communicative of what the brand should look like and who represents them. And I was just like, oh yeah, I'm going to make sure I kill the game for you.
I love it. I love it. That is becoming Becky Davis, as
Yes,
it's seen in
it is.
Speakers
Yes,
Magazine.
it
That
is.
said, that's it. That's
Well,
it.
what an incredible story, because I really feel like, and you've trademarked like bosspreneur, and so that definitely, I'm glad that you own that, because that is what it should be. But like, I think you have, by the way, so listening right now with BSN, we have a community of like 10,000 plus speakers. Like, everybody's on that individual journey. And I think sometimes we think that, things have to look like a certain way. So it's like this comes before that. And so when you were in service, like you said, you got time, talent, and treasure. Like there was no, you weren't getting paid. It was just like time, talent. And then you were creating the relationships. You were building a brand for yourself. And then you became the natural choice in somebody's mind when this opportunity came up. And so I think this story is so powerful about just like, you know, sometimes we look at certain companies and we're like, man, if only I could get, you know, in the door at, you know, AT&T or Google, or if only I could get an executive on the phone. Well, even if we get them on the phone, what you going to tell them? Like, you know, they haven't seen anything.
People that we talk about, it's like, if I just get that one break and get on Oprah.
Right. And you know, one of the things, Brian, to your point is, you know, you're definitely wanting to open the door. But for me, and I share this with my community as much as possible. It's like, how do you get here? How do you get there? Serve. Go serve. The doors that have opened for me are places where I say, I know I want to be in this room and at this table. This is where they meet. So let me go there and pay whatever that dollar amount is. Because especially when you're trying to get to the next level, where Coca-Cola and all of those sponsors, where they hang out, you got to pay to go where they hang out. Mm-hmm. And so I would pay to go to this conference that might cost me $3,000 to $5,000, but I was in the room. And over 3 years, I remember it was 3 years in, I was going to these conferences, the same ones where I saw the corporate people. And there was this guy from Walmart. I saw him everywhere. One day I was at WeBank, the national conference for WeBank. I saw him. I went up to him. I said, listen, for the last 3 years, we've seen each other 3 times at 3 different conferences. We need to at least know each other's names. Mm-hmm. He started laughing and he was like, I know, I see you at everything. And I said, well, let's just have coffee together. That coffee led into a pitch that I did later. He connected me with someone inside of their supplier diversity. I connected with them and I threw him off because he thought he knew what I was going to pitch because he saw me speaking, he saw me training. So he thought I was going to be pitching a speaker or a trainer. I pitched something totally different, shocked him. And he was like, I need to put you in touch with someone else. So it ended up opening up an agreement and business with another part of Walmart just because he saw 3 times. We need to just have a conversation. And it just took the stress out of it because he was like, she's everywhere. And I've seen her. She spoke here. She's done that. And she's been here. We had a conversation. I showed him something different than what he thought I did. And it opened up a partnership with me and Walmart.
That's beautiful. That's it. That's what our first cover was. George Fraser. He talks about the power of networking, and that is it on steroids. That is the whole point. That is
relationships. It's all about building those relationships. You know, being in that space, showing up, just to be seen.
Showing up.
Right. Yeah, right. 3 years. You know, that took a lot of effort and time. So when people think that you just came about something, you have spent years building that relationship up so that people, first of all, will want to get to know you. And then as they see you, be able to introduce you and pull you in closer. But I like what Brian said. He said, people want to be in places, but what are you going to say when you get there? And I think that's something, too, that people often overlook, the importance of their message. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like helping people with that messaging part. But what are you going to say?
Those that show.
I mean, it's like you're like if nobody's been on and I know you're on the Forbes like Coaches Council too, but like if people haven't been to your website, like that to me is like a master's class on what it's like, because it's like Pam mentioned earlier, hey, if I Google you, like what's going to show up? And so all of those logos are there, but you got to start somewhere, right? And I think it's a we think it's kind of like this linear path where it's like, you know, one of these, and you're just such a great example of that. So congratulations on being on the cover. I think this is a perfect way to earmark bookend 2020 with the craziness of 2020. This is something positive.
I love Pam.
Becky, you have something coming up, don't you, on the 29th?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I do. I'm so excited about it. We do this once a year, and it's our belief board party. And at first I was saying it's the belief board party on steroids, but then I changed it that it's a belief board party on scripture, because that's what it is.
Very
And it's really taking a vision board. I was saying it was a vision board on steroids. So we really took the vision board concept, and it really became a belief board just because of my experience of looking at my vision board and kind of guessing, hoping, wishing that some of the things would come true, and immediately kind of quenched my spirit, when the Bible says, if you ask and don't believe, don't expect.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh my God, I got that up there visualizing it, but I don't even expect it to happen. And my shift was, okay, everything that you put on there, you have to believe is possible for you. And so we're going to have a belief board party that's going to walk people through how you tie your belief and your business together so that you can have supernatural success. Because the acronym for BOSS is believing ordains supernatural success.
Beautiful.
And belief is the foundation of the growth for me as an individual and in business as well. So it's October the 29th. It's a virtual party.
December, not October.
Yeah, thank
December.
you. Thank you, December. December 29th. Y'all got that. December 29th. And you can go to beliefboardparty.com to find out all of the details. Thank you.
I love that. I love that. And how can people follow you? Because Constance wants to know, how can she get in touch with Becky?
Yes. So you can.
All
of my social media and is Bosspreneur. So if you Google Bosspreneur and you see somebody but me, please send me a message so I can send a cease and desist to them. Which I had to do it 5 times so far. But anything at Bosspreneur social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, I should come up and we can definitely connect with you there socially.
And you said it's beliefboardparty.com.
Beliefboardparty.com.
Very good.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where you want to be. If you're in a situation and how people have to like drop their links or create like landing pages, stuff like that, be like, nope, just Google this one word and you're good. Like that's where you want to be.
That's Brandon right there.
That's Brandon right there.
Yes. And believe me, I've Googled myself and I'm like, I just put in Bosspreneur. It's like, okay, we good.
Becky, I'm looking forward to the party on the 29th. I'm excited about it. So, and I'm bringing a friend. I already told her about it this morning, and so we are ready to register.
Listen, I have a friend that I just confirmed her. She's coming on, Janice Anderson, who's amazing, phenomenal. She works in the Christian space. She is going to do a session called "The Lies We Believe and the Truth That Dispels It."
Ooh.
Yeah. She's it's gonna be amazing.
Is it live and virtual?
Yes, it's just gonna be virtual. It's just gonna be we won't live stream it. It'll just be virtual.
Perfect.
Brian.
Do you think people are surprised when they get like a cease and desist letter on the trademark stuff? Because I feel like people are probably just like, oh, nobody's going to do anything. And then
yes, they are. I've had two. Most people, I'll start it myself, send it to them, and I'll send a copy of the trademark so they can see I'm not just saying it. So I'll attach a copy of the trademark and say, hey, I would like for you to take this down. I have this trademark, and it would confuse my my community and my following. Most people, when I go back, and I say within 7 days, they'll go back and they'll take it down. Well, I've had 2 that said, I'm not using it the same way you're using it. And when I looked it up, I didn't see that it was trademarked. Okay, did you pay to look it up? Because that's the only way you're going to find it is if you pay to see if the trademark is out there. And so I responded to those 2 and said, okay, I just wanted to ask you personally myself to do it. From this point on, I'll just have my attorney contact you. And the next week, the attorney would send a letter. And the letter, when I read the letter, I was like, yeah, that would scare me to take it down. If it says, if you do, you have 7 days. If you do not take it down, any damages that has been caused to the brand, we're going to sue you for any possible damages. That's the only time those 2 took it down, when they got that letter.
Woo!
She's not playing. I told you people protect their brand. Becky, one last question. What year is this for you, for your Belief Board party?
This is the second year.
Second year.
This is the second year that we've done it. It turned out so well the first year that
it looks great. Yeah.
The team was like, you gotta keep doing this. And I was supposed to do it a year before I did it. I had it on the schedule. I took it down and I was disobedient. God was like, do this, and I didn't do it. And then when I did do it, he just did exceedingly abundantly above. And so now it's like, we're gonna make sure that that's on. And it's to get people's mind prepared at the end of the year to believe God for the next year of what's possible. So when we go through the process, we're going to deal with your mindset beliefs, we're going to deal with your money beliefs, and we're going to deal with your mastery beliefs, because those are the things that we struggle with. Those three, we got to get this fixed, and then we got to look at money different. A lot of times we're not making money because we're looking at it like we barely can get to it. Now we got to clear all of that out.
I had one of those sessions this week, right?
Exactly. It's like, no. And then we'll deal with mastery that's tied to your message. You have something to give and to offer, and we're going to get you to the place where you're like, I need to be working in mastery.
That's why you're going to be on foxsoul.tv on Monday.
Yes.
You know, she brings it. It's like, whoa. I'm so excited for you. I'm excited for everyone who's on this live with us, because this is good stuff. Brian, thank you for bringing us together.
Yes, Brian.
Absolutely. This is why Black Speakers Network is here. This is why Speakers Magazine is here. Becky, right before you got on, we did a walkthrough of 2020 and all the issues and stuff like that. And so nothing happens without vision, and then nothing happens without actually. I think Philip is on here. He's one of our producers of our Enough is Enough event. Like nothing happens until you put a plan in place, and that plan gets translated to a calendar, then you get a team on it, and then things start moving forward. And so I get excited and look forward to these opportunities every single month. Becky, I love to bring you back. We do speaker development classes once a week, so we'd love to have you back to do some training in 2021. We're already like booking for like February, so that's good. We are ready to rock and roll. But do you have any final thoughts, like as we close out, or just reflecting on your experience this year, or at your journey thus far? Like any final thoughts that you would want to share to like the next generation of Black speakers?
Yes. So let me say this, especially as it relates to speaking and the message that we have to give. We get so caught up, and I still fight myself past this stuff too. We get so caught up on and getting focused on, is this gonna really help someone? For me, the main thing that I've learned as a speaker is, if I've done my due diligence to make sure that my audience is going to have a breakthrough, a change, something they can walk away with. If I've just done that piece of it, for me, that's all that matters, because it's not about me and how me being on the stage and how brilliant I am. It's 100% about those people that are out there. And too often people get focused on, I can speak and I can do this. Can you help someone change the way they think that's going to impact their lives for the better? That is what I ask myself for any presentation that I'm doing. Is it going to help them change their lives so that they can move forward in whatever way? If it's not doing that, I got to go back to the drawing board before I present this, because it's about them. I want them to have the impact.
I love it. Can you help someone? That's the question. Very good.
That is it. That's what it's about.
Y'all heard it here. Well, I have no notes. So good stuff. I thank you, Becky. Congratulations on everything that you are doing. And we certainly looking forward to just sharing in the journey. I will be staying tuned to Fox Soul and all the other platforms. Make sure y'all go check out Speakers Magazine if you haven't done it so far. Shame on you. No, if you haven't done it so far, go check it out now. The full cover is there, the full issue, and all the past issues that we've done. Pam and Mark have been rocking for over 4 years, putting out great content. Sierra, you have been just a a jewel in this process. I'm so glad that you're on board to pull out these stories.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, everyone have a safe and happy holiday. And excited to continue to see you all put these jewels of wisdom into action on stage.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Take care. Take care.